Hi, everyone. I'm Begum Asana, Manager of Graduate Advising at ECE Student Affairs Unit. On behalf of ECE faculty, staff, and students, I would like to welcome you to our virtual recruitment event. We are very excited to have you here. And first of all, I want to say congratulations for all your previous accomplishments. You all have very impressive backgrounds. Secondly, I want to thank you for choosing UCSD as your potential destination in your education journey. This is not how we wanted to welcome you to UCSD, definitely not over Zoom. However, we'll bring the in-person recruitment visit experience to the virtual environment today. I wish we could walk you around our beautiful campus, see how wonderful it is to be able to go on a lunch walk to the ocean. But we do have an amazing campus tour video organized by our graduate student organization that I believe if after watching that video, you will feel like you've been to UCSD. It would have been great if we could take you to our labs in person to show you our cutting edge facilities and fascinating research each ECE faculty member is leading. But we did organize a virtual lab tour to give you the same opportunity to take a peek at some of our labs and their research. Also today, you will get to meet with faculty from the research area you're interested in, get the firsthand insight from our current graduate students and alumni, and learn more about our program and what ECE at UCSD offers. I hope you'll enjoy the program that we put together today. Thank you in advance for joining us. Now I would like to introduce you to ECE Department Chair Professor Lin for his welcome remarks.
Okay, thank you very much, Begum. Welcome, everyone. As Begum mentioned, we really wish that all of you can be here on campus with us to see our beautiful campus, to meet with all of us in person. But thank you for joining this virtual recruitment event. I think when you do get a chance to come visit us or be part of us in the future, you'll see that UC San Diego is a very vibrant place. With a lot of research activities, and there's a lot of energy here. And I look forward to seeing all of you here in the future to add to the energy that we have. I'm just going to take a few minutes to give you a little bit of history and overview about the department and go from there. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we are relatively a young university by most standards. We were founded in 1965 as a very small department in applied electrical physics. You may recognize the gentleman with the red arrow pointing to him is Dr. Eric Jacobs, the founder of Qualcomm, and he did his early research at UC San Diego in a technology called CDMA. That I think some of you may be familiar with, and that technology led to the formation of Qualcomm, and that's the most well-known. We've also had a number of other really well-known technologies coming out of our department that have led to companies, as well as other technologies that you are seeing and using every day. Next slide, please. Among our professors, besides people like Dr. Jacobs that are very well known, we've had in the past Nobel Prize laureate, Professor Alvin. Next slide, please. Amazing, this may or may not be meaningful to you, but the National Academy of Engineering is the highest honor that you can attain as an academics in the field of engineering. And we, in the entire School of Engineering at UC San Diego, we have 17 professors who are members of the National Academy of Engineering. In ECE alone, we have 10 professors. And this is a testament to the incredible faculty that we have in our department, as well as at UC San Diego. Next slide, please. We are a growing and big department. We have 62 professors in our department. Our research annual expenditure is about $35 million. We have quite a large number of undergraduates as well as graduate students. Our undergraduate population is about 1,400 students. Our master's enrollment is typically in the range of 500 to 600. And the number of PhD students that we have are over 300 students. Next slide, please. We've been doing very well as a school as well as a department. In the last few years, we've consistently been climbing in the US News ranking. We're currently ranked number 9 as the best engineering school in the country. And in electrical engineering and computer engineering in our department, we're ranked number 14. Next slide, please. And so in addition to having a really incredible world-class faculty that are, that are very well recognized and in their areas, we are also growing in our facility and resources. And so we started breaking ground last year, a new building called the Franklin Antonio Hall. And this is one of many engineering buildings at UC San Diego. And this building just started groundbreaking last year, and the building will finish sometime next year. And is a new building where many of the researching ECE as well as faculty and students will be residing. And so currently the Jacobs Hall is where most of our ECE faculty and students are being housed. And with this new building, we are going to have a lot more space for everyone. And this new building will have a state-of-the-art facility in a lot of research areas that's going to lead us to doing some really great research in the future. Next slide, please. Besides having great research, great faculty, research that's recognized by ranking in US News and other metrics, our faculty has also been very entrepreneurial, and our students have also been very entrepreneurial. These are just some example of companies that have been founded by our alumni, including Ubiquity Networks, Peregrine Semiconductor, Entropic Communications. And this is just a small list. There are a number of other companies that have been founded in recent years that are not yet listed on this list. And many of our PhDs go on to become professors themselves at a variety of universities, from Purdue to UCLA to Technion and so forth. Next slide, please. Thank you all for applying to UC San Diego. I think this is a wonderful place. We received 2,700 applicants this year for both the MS degree as well as for a PhD degree. And we had roughly 200 some graduate students coming last fall. Usually our numbers are higher, but it's a little bit lower this past year due to the pandemic. So a number of our students have deferred. And we have a very large graduate program in many different areas. Next slide, please. So so one of the great things about UC San Diego is we have 62 faculty working in a broad range of areas. And these are the areas from communications to computer engineering, to devices, to circuits, to photonics, to robotics, machine learning, signal processing, and so forth. And so it's all of you will specialize in one area for your PhD. But one of the really great things about UC San Diego is we are constantly having seminars and lectures by faculty and students in all these different areas. And your friends and colleagues in the program will be in different areas. And a lot of times what we found is that some of the most interesting research, they are based on sort of more interdisciplinary, based on sort of crossing these traditional areas. And I think you'll find that by having many PhD students and many professors working in a variety of areas, it really creates a wonderful opportunity for interdisciplinary research. And going beyond our department, we also have a lot of collaborative research with bioengineering, with computer science and engineering, with mechanical engineering department, and mathematics and other parts of campus. Next slide, please. And besides the different concentration areas, we also have many research centers in the Jacobs School of Engineering. And particularly, these are the research centers that are part of our department, our Electrical Computer Engineering Department. And our faculty members are part of these centers. And these centers are very interesting because they all involve many industry sponsors. And so, for example, in the area of network systems, Google and Facebook, Cisco are involved. In the area of wireless communications, companies like Qualcomm and Intel and Verizon Networks are involved. Companies involving in machine integrated computing, which is a lot more to do with artificial intelligence. Again, you have companies like NVIDIA, Google, Amazon. And the great thing about a lot of these centers is that it brings together the leading companies in the respective areas to ensure that your research is relevant to industry. And also the collaborations allow us to have a lot of industry relevant problems. And a lot of times, a lot of our research directions are inspired by challenges faced by the industry. Next slide, please. And so one of the great things about our labs is that we have a number of facilities, including our own clean room and fab facility for people working on devices. And we also have the supercomputing center with a lot of specialized computing for people working on research that are computing based. And these facilities range from facilities, like I mentioned, that have to do with creating new devices to environments that allows us to create test beds for self-driving cars and for wireless communications. And this is part of the infrastructure that is available to you for your research. Next slide, please. This is another example of a facility called Nano III, which allows us to fabricate our own new devices and new materials. And so this is one of the many facilities that we have. Next slide, please. We are currently a faculty of 62 professors. And one of the things that's been great for us is the entire School of Engineering has been growing very rapidly, and with hiring many wonderful faculty in the last 5 years. The School of Engineering has hired over 100 new faculty members in the last 5-6 years. The ECE Department, we ourselves have hired somewhere in order of almost 20 new professors in the last 5 years. And one of the great things about bringing in all the new professors is that they bring with them a lot of expertise in many new areas of research that are quite exciting. So I just want to show you some examples of our new faculty that have joined the department in the last 5 years. Next slide. These are additional faculty working on communications, millimeter wave communications, high-speed circuits, embedded systems. Next slide, please. We also have new faculty working in computer vision and machine learning area, in medical devices, power electronics. Next slide, please. And our most recent faculty, these are the 3 members who just joined this year. They work on the computer architecture and VLSI. They work on the intersection of optics and signal processing. So this is a relatively fast overview. Next slide. I think this is the last one.
Yeah, that's the last slide.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this gives you an overview, a little bit about our history. I think I wish you can all be with us here this week in person, but we have tremendous energy at UC San Diego with a wide variety of research areas. Many of our faculty collaborate with each other to create really wonderful research directions. And I think nearly all faculty members are part of a number of research centers that we have that are industry sponsored, and we continue to grow. I think we've grown a lot in the last 5 years, and we're going to continue to grow in the next 5 years. And with the new building and new facilities coming online, I think you'll find that this will be a wonderful environment for all of you to pursue your PhD. So with that, I'll open up if people have any questions.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Professor Lin. Thank you for your introduction. So my name is Walter. Nice to meet you all virtually. So I have a quick question for you. So when I applied to ECE program, and I saw that there are some majors are impacted and some of them are not impacted. So, and then I think that somehow creates a inflexibility for people to move around maybe after the first year. So do you know the reason why you guys do that, or is there any implication? Yeah, thank you.
Walter, thank you very much for the question. It's a great question. Actually, I think the impacted program is more relevant to our master's students. We have about 600 master's students. It's a very large program, and we try to influence the number of students in each area. In certain impacted majors is because we have a certain number of faculty in those areas to teach the courses, and we want to make sure that the classes are reasonably, so the classes are reasonably balanced. But for PhD, this is not an issue. The PhD is a function of faculty working in the research areas and the research programs. And so I think all of our professors are actively recruiting PhD students, including all of you. And I hope you have an opportunity to have some meetings with them during this week. And certainly, the most important thing is to find a good match between your research interests and the available research positions that are available, that are being supported by our faculty. So from that perspective, you're not limited by the impact programs for PhD students.
Great, thank you. So I think as long as we can find a good match between professor and maybe myself, then it's possible to transfer between different labs and research direction. Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks.
I see there's another question. Will there be any difference in intake of number of students and funding due to COVID-19? Rohit, thank you for the question. I'm not quite sure I understand the question. I'll try to answer the question I think you asked. So all of our professors continue to get very large grants and continue to get funding. And a lot of these programs, they've already received these grants before COVID started. And I think we've been quite successful this past year during COVID in faculty continue to attract new grants. And certainly the research centers that have been established, the industry funding have not been affected by the COVID-19. So from that perspective, the number of PhD students that we're admitting this year will be the same as last year, maybe even a little bit more this year. But so COVID-19 has not affected our program from the perspective of a PhD student recruiting and our ability to fund your research.
Are there any other questions for Professor Lin? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. I'll see some of you later on today in some of the Q&A sessions. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.